Infamous is coming from the start, right? So they have to be a lot more confident taking up a lot of those map space and getting that information, because we know for the side of Slay, like as we're already seeing a lot of like heavy mid action here, is that's the kind of aggression, like if anything, that I want to see from them. They've already taken up space. Look at like Slay. They've already forced to fall back a bit, forced to reset, and force the rotations through. They just have to be careful of their 6.
I like this though. We didn't see this kind of map pressure last time on Pistols between Infamous Girls. Now pushing up together, there's a little bit more space with Pippi Sippy. If you remember her from last time, absolute Century Tour on CT side. That being said, she does fall, but there's still a body disadvantage here for Slay's side. Infamous Girls though, there is a little bit more of an opportunity to even out the odds. Infame though, finds one. Now, Galley is now down to 1 HP, or 10 if you will, but that being said, though, they're separated out. They are going to be able to rejoin a little bit more, but again, that HP differential can be unbelievably strong. As that plant goes down on a site, it's going to be Infame and Andrea watching each other, trying to play for the trades here. Both teams actually playing for the trades, looking to find that opening pick to see who can break the dam first and unleash all the water of torrents of chaos, but Infame makes the first shot. And Andrea towards the back, though, does find one. Instant trades come out. Infame, though, could be good to be good for one here. The Glock in hand, 77 HP for Vanessa, but she's good for the headshot instead. Wow. And Slay, I mean, it was a really close first round, Sajidine, but still Slay that finds it.
Very close for sure, and this is I'm hoping that this is the same like sort of energy and momentum, even if the round did not swing in their favor, that Infamous can carry continuously as this round. Like if you're on the T side, you want to be taking up that space. You want to be forcing Slay back onto, you know, so deep into the site that you pretty much have an idea of where they're going to be playing here. So we're already seeing what that is. The M4 coming out on the hands of Vanessa. That is going to be very scary as a long-range turret, like to watch both mid-alt-mid situation right here. But I do like that Infamous, even if they're getting picked off, is making the presence known from both of those lanes.
I mean, Vanessa's just nasty, right? Immediately, like one of the two last alive from last round, Infamous Girls, they go down immediately. Down to 3 left alive for Infamous Girls. A little separated. Still a lot of tradability, and mobility could be good. I'm just going to make those opening shots, though, on Banana, but look at this. Gali pushes up, and no, she can't find the trade. Infam gets, well, a triple kill, sort of. It does take down Kath. Not the best way to go at first, right? But hey, I mean, the damage was done. Still nearly trades it up. And Gloop could be good for another one here. She finds the opening shots. Doesn't quite connect, though. Doesn't find the confirmation. What's left alive, though, from Infamous Girls? Unbelievably lit up. A single bullet will take down anybody left for the attack. Oh, but that being said, though, you take down one, you find another. It's Pippi Sippy again. Couldn't expect anything less from her.
No, you could not. And this is going to be a bit of economy, because there was like Galil's forced out over on the side of Infamous. So we're going to be seeing a bit of like a pass around as far as, well, this is on Slay, but for Infamous, just like very little. This is going to be a hard save for them. No utility at hand. It's just nothing but pistols here. And we're seeing a bit of a shift as well as far as where they're playing. There's a lot of noise over on alt mid, and it's going to be apartments is where they want to try and attempt to make something. It's close quarters, it's pistols, so you're just hoping that that right-click lock perhaps could make some stuff happen. Oh. If you're Slay, like, you have to be careful, right?
Oh, yeah. And it feels like Infamous Girls at the beginning of every round just plays so fast and try to take so much space immediately, right? So Slay, throwing out all those mollies and smokes on Banana, it was a really good idea to stifle out that kind of aggression and that momentum. And now even on pistols, right? Infamous Girls, they're stalled out. They don't want to make that commitment to push either side yet.
No, I mean, pressure is on them to make something happen here since they need to get that bomb down. But with Slay, if they're feeling pretty confident, they've won the 2 rounds so far, they could be a lot more aggressive than they intend to be, and that could be punished. So they just need to be a bit careful. We're seeing that, you know, poke forward, reset back, and Slay just looking at their position. They're playing, just anchoring down these sites.
There's power in numbers, though, from Infamous Girls. Vanessa, though, watching two different angles at once. Top of apartments might be a little sketchy. The smoke goes down instead to prevent that entry, but Vanessa finds so much info. She's just as shocked as us. Oh, no. That's one. Make it two. There we go. Three for Vanessa. Four for Vanessa. Shuts it all down. That smoke she put down, what, 10 seconds before? Still in play. The drop down, it never happened. MC, the last one alive, she was stalled up at Vanessa's smoke. This could be a perfect time to get an ace, and there it is! Kills for Vanessa! Shuts down Infamous Girls.
Oh man, that was almost like a horror story of a peak here, but it ended up being Vanessa just completely demolishing. But this is going to be the important round here. This is where rifles and utility balanced out for both teams, AKs at hand, and again, we're seeing this like heavy movement, and it looks like we're going to see a lot more presence at B, just having to deal with all of this utility spam to start from the side of Slay. But if I'm Infamous here, you need to try to figure out and isolate some of those kills, and it's still a bit of a default setup. We're seeing apartments being touched up on, still a lot of mindful presence over on the banana. And Slay, though, they're not giving these duels that Infamous want to have. They're just sitting nice and pretty in the back of their sites, creating those crossfires, and pressure is on for Infamous to try to figure out where they can take these fights. And it's probably very key to an opening pick, I think, which is going to be hard to find.
You're absolutely right. Vanessa could be good to make opening contact here. Blender as well, depending on where the apartment's rotate could come in from. It speaks to that confidence, though, Sajidine. Like, we see Infamous Girls, they stop at a certain, like, almost like a line in the sand, but it's actually Blender to push forwards into that stand and play into the uncomfortability. Takes down lower immediately. Cat by herself now. There is a little bit of duo-ship, though. MC's going to leave, however. Try to rotate out. And again, you kind of dip into the water a little bit there. If you're Slay, you find an opening pick, and Infamous Girls, there's no response.
And we're seeing a lot of like hesitation. I think Infamous really understand the pressure that this particular round has, but pressure is on as well for that timer. It's at 15 seconds, so we're seeing all of this utility spam right now to try and push through off the B site. They're going to hit that crossfire, but it's the Hippie to go down. That's a big kill.
Yeah, that's huge. She, again, like a sentry turret, she's able to anchor a site wherever she's placed on so effectively well, and because of that and the entry there, having more bodies, the bomb is going to go down on B site. Gloofit's going to have to make so much more space to retake, but Osco should have been ready, but she is taken down by the strafe. So many more trades, though, going back to the favor of Slay. One by one, each member falls to the 1v2. It turns into a 2v0. And Slay again. It looked so confident for Infamous Girls, but they get shut down again.
There was just no time for any sort of proper post planned for the side of Infamous once they got themselves onto site. They only managed to kill one of Slay's players on site. The other one still forced to fall back. So there was really no way to have any control past coffins for them. They got smoked out. They even got killed through that smoke as Infamous were attempting to plant because... And while the rest of the players from Slay have already rotated themselves over. And like you said, players from Infamous kind of just got caught out at that point, just being stuck in certain like unfortunate corners over on the side of B.
Galley plays off a fantastic time with their Oscar Falls. Again, almost all of these opening picks universally this game have gone in Slay's favor. A lot of the time, Infamous Girls, they're pushing into a 4v5.
Even with all the utility tried to use over on mid to remove that op from getting any other picks, it's really tough because you're wasting utility to delay. However, you're not making or accomplishing any other movements from it just because Slay, they have answers back. Like if you see a smoke come out, then they'll throw a molly for any delay. So once again, we're sitting, the clock is now under a minute left. And Infamous, they're going to have to once again do a similar commit where they have to expend any utility that they have left to try and make their way onto a site.
Oh, but there's mollies everywhere, Sajidine. It's going to be really hard. You have to wait for the mollies to dissipate. And Infamous Girls, they have a single lane to push into A. Luckily, though, there is only one crossfire that Slay can operate with, but they don't know about Vanessa on the other side. Getting the smoke, waiting for it to dissipate. Does have the angle, takes down Kath and a reaction time shot. And there we go! 1 by 1, Blender again with the up. Does get traded out after 1. And Gloop only being discovered now. Good for 2. There it is. Shuts down Infamous Girls again.
Yeah, that's a tough one. And we're going to see the economy once again hurting for the side of Infamous here as far as like what they're able to buy out. Something that I've brought up in the past and like I've kind of seen here with the hesitation is there's initial usage of some of that utility, but there's still dry peeking happening on the side of Infamous Girls as far as just getting those early pickoffs being given to Slay, which it gets very hard when you're starting off the round. Everybody's still trying to do a setup and you're already a player down. And I think for Infamous to be able to make any sort of adjustments here, try to push through, perhaps, like I said, removing some of that fear, playing a little bit more aggressive. If you're going to lose a player that early, you might as well try and get that trade fast, perhaps get even like a gun upgrade if possible. But it's just been very hard. As soon as someone falls, there's a lot of hesitation and trying to figure out, okay, what do we do now? What do we do now? Where do we go? And it just allows for Slay to make adjustments and still stagger their utility usage. And it's not really like working out for the side of Infamous as far as just when they try to burn that out, they're already getting picked off because they should be at this point expecting where Vanessa, how aggressive she's been playing, or Pippi and how much of a turret she's been playing on the back of whatever site that she's anchoring.
And their positions, too, on Slay haven't really changed at all. The only thing that's the major change is the rotates and how fast they need to go. But they're playing up the rotate of Infamous Girls a lot.
Yeah.
But
yeah, like you said here, right? It's usually what? It's a 3A, 2B setup, or now we're seeing 3B, 2A. But just look at where the players of Slay are playing. They're playing far back enough because they have the rifle advantage. So all they need to do is wait. And
utility.
Yeah, and utility still.
There is no utility at all for Infamous Girls. 34 seconds left, though. The call's been made to go for the push, and let me tell you, it's an overwhelming one at that. The op's not going to find the opening shot, though. It's not too late. Not even then. Vanessa, though, cleaning up house from the backside of sight. Blender, though, is going to be smoked off. She can't find that line of sight anymore. Vanessa pushes up. Might be good to find one back of sight. And oh, boy, she has a lot of work to do. Well, Blender needs to push up and wait off of timing for the smokes to dissipate. It's up to Vanessa now to at least alleviate a little bit of pressure. There is Pippi on the other side to help out, though. But two heads appear out of nowhere. It's going to be lower to get traded out instead. And Pippi Sippy again. Every time we talk about her, it's always 1, 2, maybe even 3 kills. But it was also against a team with just pistols and no utility.
It almost feels like that could have been a lot worse, like you said, given that they had nothing but their pistols in hand, no utility to their name. They got that bomb down. They managed to get 3 out of the 5 players of Slay. So when I talk about the aggression or just like the feeling of the confidence, if you're going to make your way onto a site, if you're going to lose a player, you might as well just have everybody else there to answer back. That is what they did. That's what allows them to get onto the site. And perhaps that idea of how you play when you're on an eco round of sorts and knowing that you kind of have to play differently could apply as well when they have their guns and utility this time around. We're seeing a lot of utility burn being attempted over here in Banana. Meanwhile, apartments as well already pushed up here. It's just a little hard because how deep Slay have been constantly playing on A site. So it has to be, once again, a timing situation that they have here and making sure that Infamous, they have enough utility both for the entry as well as for the post plan.
The call has been made by Slay, though, to push back on B a little bit more, play off the crossfire. That being said, though, at the same exact time, Infamous Girls, the majority of the team, they're pushing towards A. There's a possibility of a triple cross, perhaps even just waiting for the rotate to get on the site once the execute's been called. Less than a minute left on the clock. Infamous Girls do have a little bit of time. At least this round, they have utility and weapons to work with. But the call's been made to go for a slow rotate, perhaps over to B. Bomb wasn't in anybody's possession at all. Now that B might be a possibility. There's no smokes, no mollies, no utility to really stall this play. But apartments, Looks like MCs might be trying to sell a fake here onto A site and try to drive the big force on the B, but the utility's already been called. Pippi Slippy again. Gotta keep an eye on her. She's been fantastic about holding sites every single round. Galley too, good for the cross, usually for the trades as well. Gotta keep an eye on Slippy here. Already on site though, Infamous Girls, this is their chance. They have the AKs to work with, they have the weaponry. Pippi Sippy falls, and Galley's there for the trade. She's good for one, but again, she cleans up for two. Blender's gonna help out, actually, and clean it up. And there we go. I was seeing a future a little bit more, but again, the early round, it's just so slow, Sagitine. Infamous Girls, I like their executes onto the site. The issue is by then, it just feels like it's predicted by Slay about where they need to aim and where the bodies need to be positioned.
I was looking at how that played out, and it was an unfortunate series of events here with the timing. The fake on A site by Infamous almost worked. I saw movement from the players of Slay over on B side to try and do that rotate here, as we're seeing the similar utility spam usage fence check happening on each site right now on the map. It almost happened. However, the timing of all of the utility of Infamous for the side of B, oh no, what? What happened there? Was that a glitch? All right. Okay, we're good. We're good. Yeah, that's a. Don't worry, we didn't see that happen.
She sold her soul to the devil, and now she's gonna pop off and be a demon.
But you're absolutely right as far as the timing execute. There's just too much time wasted at the start that when you get onto B site, when Infamous got onto B site, there was not enough time to clear the site as well as get that plant down. So you're pretty much like exposed to all sorts of things, such as the weather and the crosshairs of Slay when you're planning that bomb. And that's what's ended up happening here. Another attempt perhaps at a fake, a lot of noise being made here for Infamous as they're trying to make their way over onto the arch side while the rest of their teammates perhaps going through, oh no.
Blender's nasty.
Blender. So nasty.
And it looks like it's a bit of a fake again, right? You have the entry from Infamous Girls on A. They go down, but at least it buys a little bit of time for what's left of Infamous Girls to push into B. That crossfire again hasn't really changed too much. Pippi Sippy again to make first contact, and most certainly she does. With the conjunction of Galley and her flashes, does a great job with the double kill. And it's 8-0 again.
Yeah.
Sagitine, there really hasn't been much that changed for these executions for Infamous Girls again. It sucked that it was a 4v5, but it didn't really change the core structure of how the push execute was.
No, there was even the way it looks like on the map and what the strategy was looking like, to distract, to push, delay any sort of rotation happening for the side of Slay, which I want to say is possible to happen, but they're holding on to like a lot of their utility to start. Not a lot of it gets burned through in the beginning. If anything, there's just like a lot of like dry peeking after happening as well for Infamous and just giving those early op kills to either to Blender or even to like Pippi in the other side, Vanessa. Like they're all just finding those kills, finding those shots. And while it's obviously a little different because we're able to see how Slay is playing on the map, I almost feel like it really should be some sort of numbers game. What do you do when Slay is not giving you those early pickoffs? They're not giving you any isolated fights. Then you have to play it by numbers. Like you said, it has to be some sort of power overwhelming situation for the side of Infamous to try to have to push through those utility. Yeah, might have to get your feet burned a bit and perhaps have a 5v2, 5v3 battle onto a site. And if you lose one or two in the process, hopefully just one, if you're lucky, could probably still be better overall, because then at least you could claim the site and have a proper setup for a Pokemon. We're seeing a heavy rush in Banana right now. Perhaps this is finally happening. Maybe?
Yeah, it sounds like they listen to you. That's really good. And I like what Galley's doing here. Early U2 goes down. The Molly forces Galley to push up, but I don't think that was really for the best for Infamous Girls. Everyone goes down except for one. Captain's good for the double. She actually clears out B site. The issue is there's plenty of time for Slay and, well, plenty of bodies as well to rotate all the way over. If Kath can push up and find a little bit of contact, she does, unfortunately, into the op, and Blender's there to find it instead. And I like that push. I like the 5 push in the B site. We saw that on round 4, except for A site, and there was a full eco. But those rushes, it overwhelms Slay in their defenses. If it wasn't for Galley and her, 4K, that would have been great.
I want to say, I think they all ate the flash or something because their their little characters were trying to cover their eyes because otherwise none of them were looking at coffins. It wasn't cleared. It wasn't smoked out. It wasn't. I think whatever nade was thrown over in that direction went over, and no one's clearing it, and everybody was just kind of either looking in the same direction or were flashed out. And yeah, you just kind of got mowed down because of that situation. Unfortunate, really. Idea was there. Execution, not so much.
But at least Infamous Girls are making progress. They're able to get onto the site. Op doesn't quite fully connect. It does a lot of damage to Andrea, but it doesn't confirm into a kill. Might be enough time for Infamous Girls to push into A, but hesitation's returning again. Blender good to return what she did once was. There we go. More bodies fall. Asuka's gonna be one of 2 left alive. She has full health. She has the molly to clear out a position towards the back. Blender again finishes the job, takes down Andrea and Gloop towards the very back site. Finds Asuka. And now it's double digits for Slay.
Yeah, this is looking very rough, I think, for the side of the Infamous Girls. And just kind of looking at their economy again, yeah, we're seeing some forcing their utilities not going to be looking very good whatsoever coming into this. It's such a frazzled bio. You have an AK, a Galil.
Another Galil.
Another Galil. But looking pretty rough. And then what? You're going to try to dry peek into this crosshair of Blender? Okay, managed to tag her. That's a big tag. Forced to fall back.
That may have been the most aggressive we've seen Slay so far.
Just looking at all the utility still available though on the side of Slay. It's very hard and scary that's what you're gonna have to push through with, given the firepower that is on the side of Infamous. But I'm curious to see if they feel confident or brave enough to attempt another entry onto B the way that they tried to do earlier, just having to be careful this time around and mindful of those flashes and having to clear out coffins. That way all like 3 or 4 of them pushing onto a site like that does not result in a absolute massacre bloodbath on the entry. Oh my gosh, look at where Vanessa is.
Vanessa.
Hard flanking.
And there hasn't been a flank so far. Vanessa, nobody on Infamous Girls are expecting her to push up whatsoever. Pippi and Galley, they know exactly what to do. Not quite the coffin's hold anymore, but Andrea and MC find a lot of impact on site. But now Vanessa's going to go for the flank, and she's just flashed out in the process. That smoke grenade's going to help her out a little bit more. A wall for MC to cross against. No idea at all. Now MC strafes across it, but she's a victim to Vanessa as well. Andrea's the last alive. This is an incredibly doable situation, but Vanessa, she's an absolute titan for the flank.
Whew, that was nice. And to all of my old school Counter-Strike players out there, remember that old wallpaper we used to have that tells you always check your 6? Well, always check your 6. Watch your flank, watch your back. It's kind of unfortunate. Typically, like for a setup like that, when you have site control, there still needs to be someone playing banana. It has to be like a bit of a little miscommunication or just an excitement of playing the numbers, pushing onto this site. I mean, it was still not a good buy round situation for Infamous, so it probably also would have just been hard. Not impossible, though, if they could have caught her by surprise, perhaps. Ooh, again, dodging that op kill. Honestly, those are huge. And look at how fast they're moving on the map here, too.
That's good. This is a really good change of pace, and I like this. Blender's being pressured so much, he's forced to use the molly. Vanessa's up on top of apartments. Opening shots don't connect, though. Vanessa's going to re-rotate towards apartments. Gloop towards her usual spot in the back of sight. Vanessa's going to play a deep angle. She's waiting for that push-up. She has this secondary contact off of Blender in case she misses her shot. Look at Asuka. She's almost on top of the car. She's looking to see where Blender is playing. But it's a triple contact. This is a death trap waiting to happen. Gloop and Galley are there. Everyone's going down all at once. But look at this. There was a change of pace. Cat was good for one, but it's far too late. 12-0.
Oh, man. I couldn't catch a glimpse of if they had any flashes left after that initial push onto the side of the market here. Okay, let's look at the replay. Yeah, there was like nothing. There was just absolutely nothing to allow and encourage that entry once they were set up, and that is so unfortunate for the side of Infamous. I mean, it's a side effect, right? It's all the bleeding that is constantly happening. Yeah, they'll play aggressive, they'll take up map space, but they don't have enough utility to afford, or they can't afford anything to like hold this down. And they're trying another attempt, trying to overwhelm, but no, it's just Gloop locking things down. Blunder over on the other side, doing the crossfire. It's a hemorrhage.
It's overwhelming.
Yeah.
And Cat is down to 90. Eagle in hand. She peeks out. There's 4 different people looking at her. It's not going to work out. And this is Infamous's map pick too, right? This is the map you need to win.
Yeah, it definitely is. And let's see. 4 HEs, 7 flashes. Okay, this is the kind of utility that you want to see if they're going to keep playing this way. Like, it's absolutely important that they have something that enables their entry once they're set up to go and push for it. They forced a lot of utility for the side of Slay over in Banana once again. And looks like we're attempt number 3, 4, I think, at this point for the side of A. We're seeing all of Infamous sitting over in mid.
Flashes go down though. Force Blender off her position. The group push for Infamous. I've liked these pushes a lot. They've looked a lot more concise. They looked a lot more confident. But Blender, again, also equally as confident, finds a double kill in the process. She's going to be hiding away on site again. Apartments have always had one when you have Infamous attacking. But now Gloop has been repositioned off because of the Molly. She's been taking advantage of this spot so many different times, and she still finds a lot of success despite the reposition and lowers the last alive. She's good for 1, nearly makes it 2. But now at nearing the end of the first map, almost match point, Slay have looked unstoppable.
Yeah, they definitely have. And this is looking like an absolute repeat of the last time these two teams faced each other on this map. And for Infamous, I'm sure they're looking to try and update that narrative, take a couple rounds this time around before, you know, think like perhaps the complete like underdog climb from the bottom here. We're seeing a match pause, a bit of a reset once again. Utility still looking decent on the side of Infamous, but they got caught again in that hesitation. It has to be absolutely devastating when you are being held down by literally one person. I think like that round, it was like Blender playing pivot with the op, killing one side, killing the other, killing one side, killing the other. So trying to figure out how to properly isolate or push through that op, just constantly sitting on the back of A when you're trying to push through, what's it called? Like through the arches. I feel like there's like a bit of like Infamous constantly getting stuck where the strategy should be some sort of pincher move happening for both sides as they're trying to entry onto a site. But when you have half your team already making their way onto arches while the other half still kind of stuck in some weird battle over in apartments, meanwhile, top of mid over by the carts is completely uncontested, or nobody's really there to allow a, what's the word that I'm looking for here? So that Slay has to watch so many more angles and positions instead of just the 1 or 2 that they're doing very well holding. It gets tough. It really does. And yeah, and you can only do so much.
At least Infamous Girls are changing it up every round, right? We've seen different strategies. I mean, before that last tactical pause, we saw nothing but defaults, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
And then after that, we saw fakes. That didn't work either. A full push has looked the most confident so far. It's been my favorite. It's been the most amount of impact as well. We've even seen the bomb go on into the ground, planted on sites because of those full pushes. It's just really taking down those apex predators, right? You have Vanessa, you have Blender specifically as well, right? They've been so good about solo holding these sites, and that's just on A side alone, right? We haven't even talked about Gally and Pippi Sippy yet, who have just been angering B as well. It's impossible to push, it feels, but that's where the utility needs to come in.
It really does, and it's either you need to have a better understanding of your lineups and setups and timings of it and how to play with it. Because it's one thing to just know, oh, this is the lineup to smoke out or to burn out like coffins. It's another to know how long it takes for it to get in there. As soon as that smoke propagates and comes out, when that flash goes out, how long are they flashed for? And you need to absolutely go when you're hitting those timings. Otherwise, look, we saw Gally flashed out, had enough time to kind of get used to that flash, managed to help trade. Because nobody went in.
And now look what's left. Infamous have 2 left alive, and they didn't push in, like you said, Saj, and they're just kind of stuck. Luckily, though, Vanessa has not gone for the flank yet. The return, going back to form, going back to mid wouldn't be impossible, but now it might be that the smoke is gone, and Gally and special guest Blender are back on B site. 15-0. That hesitation still remains.
Indeed, but we're going to do a quick reset, hop onto a break, perhaps turn things around. We'll find out soon enough.
Takes by their money to force a change. Takes by their time to heal the pain. Heartbreak will light the fire. Heartbreak will light the fire.
love an underdog story. And Infamous Girls are going to be the most under of dogs if they can make a brilliant comeback here. 15-0 for Slay's side, and Infamous Girls 0-4 in groups here for ESL Impact. And this isn't too late. Maybe CT side could be the way to go for Infamous Girls. They just need to anchor down. They need to play perfectly and get their heads together and figure out what the strategy should be, because they only have this round for wiggle room.
Yeah, that is so much pressure that you're pretty much fighting for your life one round at a time, hoping to not go into map number 2, which is Slay's map pick of choice, that is Mirage. So we're seeing what there was initially like a heavy stack. There's a lot of heavy presence over on A with the one placement on B. It's that unfortunate 50-50 situation. Not the worst case though, if they can just comms fast enough, have a quick rotation over. It's not impossible, and Infame has to stay alive. Or sorry, MCC.
MCC needs to stay alive here. She's going to hide away. I like this play that she's bringing out here. Unfortunately, the chase down could be true as well. Vanessa's there to make sure MC, well, can't live much longer. Vanessa, though, is going to hold this power position now. It's been called out, certainly, but double, make it triple kill comes by for Vanessa. And the shutdown's all the true. She picks up the USPS, and she's, well on her way to win. 16-0. For Slay, wow. Infamous Girls, not a single round on the board for map number 1. Their own map choice, Sajidine.
I know, it was a repeat. This is just flashbacks of the last time Infamous faced Slay. It was also a 16-0, so they're pretty much, what's the math, 32?